Tehran, 1974. A customer examines a sapphire bracelet under the shop lights, negotiating price with a merchant who speaks perfect Farsi. She leaves satisfied, clutching her purchase. The merchant locks the door behind her, walks past shelves of diamonds and gold, and enters a back room where no customer has ever been allowed. Behind a false wall panel, he adjusts frequencies on encrypted radio equipment and begins transmitting coordinates to Tel Aviv. The bracelet sale just funded another night of espionage. For 8 years, this jewelry business wasn't really a business at all. It was a Mossad station hiding in plain sight, collecting secrets while selling engagement rings to the very people it was spying on. The strangest thing about intelligence work? Sometimes the best disguise is no disguise at all. You don't sneak around in shadows. You open a shop, pay your taxes, join the local merchant association, and become so ordinary that nobody thinks to look twice. That's exactly what Israeli intelligence did in pre-revolutionary Iran, turning commerce into cover and transforming a jewelry store into one of their most successful operations in the Middle East. Before we go further, understand this. The Iran of the 1970s bears almost no resemblance to the Iran you know today. Ayatollah Khomeini was still in exile, the Islamic Republic didn't exist yet, and impossibly, Israel and Iran were actually working together. The Shah's regime and the Israeli government maintained an alliance that would seem unthinkable now. Both faced similar threats: hostile Arab neighbors, Soviet expansion, regional instability. Both depended on American support. Both needed allies in a dangerous neighborhood, so they built a relationship that operated mostly in darkness, away from public scrutiny, coordinated by intelligence services that understood each other's languages better than their politicians ever could. Savak, the Shah's intelligence service, and Mossad shared information routinely. Israeli advisors trained Iranian security personnel. Iranian oil reached Israeli refineries through arrangements nobody discussed publicly. The cooperation ran deep enough that Mossad maintained official liaison officers in Tehran, working openly under diplomatic cover. But here's the problem with official cover. Everyone knows exactly who you are. The Iranians knew which Israeli diplomats were intelligence officers. They watched them. They monitored who they met. And some intelligence operations require something official channels can never provide: complete deniability. That's where non-official cover comes in. The kind of operation where an intelligence officer doesn't work at an embassy. He opens a business, lives a completely fabricated life, becomes someone else so thoroughly that even people who know him well have no idea who he really is. And if the operation ever gets exposed, his government can claim they've never heard of him. Jewelry stores make perfect intelligence platforms. Think about what a jeweler does legitimately. Travels internationally to source inventory from diamond markets in Antwerp, gold dealers in Dubai, gem suppliers in Bangkok. These trips look completely normal. Nobody questions why a jewelry merchant flies to Tel Aviv or Zurich. Those cities are jewelry trade centers, except those trips also provide perfect opportunities to report to handlers, receive new instructions, and coordinate operations that can't be managed remotely. Jewelry stores attract diverse clientele: military officers buying anniversary gifts, diplomats selecting pieces for social occasions, government officials marking family milestones, businessmen with money to spend. A good jeweler meets people from every sector of society naturally without arousing suspicion. And people talk while shopping for jewelry. They mention their work. They discuss their lives. They reveal things they'd never say to someone they thought might be gathering intelligence. The business model itself provides operational benefits. Jewelry transactions involve substantial cash that's difficult to trace. The markup on pieces can be adjusted to disguise funding flows. A ring might cost more because of its quality, or because operational funds need laundering through commercial channels. And jewelry stores require secure backrooms for inventory storage. Customers understand they can't enter these areas, which means they're perfect locations for communications equipment, intelligence materials, and private meetings with agents who can't risk being seen entering obvious intelligence facilities. Mossad selected an officer for this mission whose identity remains classified even now. The details of his preparation reveal how seriously Israeli intelligence takes deep cover operations. He didn't just learn to speak Farsi. He spent over a year mastering the language with such precision that native speakers couldn't detect anything unusual in his accent or idioms. Language training included cultural immersion, How educated Iranians from specific regions spoke, what references they used, which phrases marked social class. He studied gemology until he could evaluate diamonds like a professional. Cut, clarity, color, carat weight. He learned metalwork, watch repair, jewelry business practices. By the time he opened his Tehran store, he could operate a genuine jewelry business competently enough that knowledgeable customers wouldn't question his expertise. His cover identity explained everything that might seem unusual. He portrayed himself as a Jewish Iranian who'd lived abroad for years, acquiring jewelry expertise before returning home to establish his business. Years away from Iran would naturally affect his accent. It explained any gaps in his knowledge of Tehran's social landscape. It justified his lack of extensive family connections in the city. Every detail anticipated questions that might arise and provided plausible answers. The documentation supporting this fiction was extraordinarily sophisticated. Iranian identity papers weren't crude forgeries. They were based on authentic documents Mossad had obtained through channels that remained classified. Business licenses came through Iranian intermediaries who asked no uncomfortable questions. Financial records showed a believable history: foreign jewelry training, gradual accumulation of capital, legitimate business establishment. The paper trail could withstand scrutiny because it was built on fragments of truth, carefully woven into a larger fiction. Location mattered as much as cover. The store wasn't placed in Tehran's wealthy northern districts where foreign diplomats lived and SAVAK surveillance was heaviest. Nor was it in poor southern neighborhoods where a jewelry store would seem economically absurd. Instead, it occupied middle-class commercial space, prosperous enough to support the business, not so exclusive that newcomers attracted intense scrutiny. Good foot traffic without being overwhelmed, far enough from embassies and government buildings to avoid routine security monitoring. The store's appearance was calibrated precisely. Windows displayed attractive pieces that would draw customers, but nothing so valuable that it required extraordinary security or attracted criminal attention. The interior projected competent professionalism: display cases, a work area where the merchant could be seen repairing jewelry, comfortable seating for discussions. Everything suggested an established business run by a knowledgeable craftsman. And here's the crucial part: the business had to be real. Mossad couldn't operate a completely fake store. Neighbors would notice the lack of customers. Tax authorities would investigate businesses with no revenue. So the officer ran an actual jewelry business, imported inventory from international suppliers, served customers who came to browse and purchase, maintained accounting records showing normal commercial activity, paid taxes on profits. The business needed to appear successful enough to seem legitimate, but not so profitable that it attracted unwanted audit attention from authorities. The operational value emerged in what happened outside business hours. In the back room, customers never saw. Behind false panels where radio equipment connected Tehran to Tel Aviv. Through meetings where Iranian agents could report intelligence without being observed entering official Israeli facilities. The officer served as more than just a spy. He functioned as a station chief, coordinating intelligence operations across Iran. He managed networks of Iranian sources who provided information for various reasons: financial need, ideological alignment with Israel, personal grievances against the regime. He coordinated with other Mossad officers operating under different covers throughout Iranian cities. He served as a communications hub, receiving intelligence from multiple sources and consolidating reports for transmission to headquarters. The store provided secure meeting space where agents could report without surveillance. An Iranian source couldn't walk into the Israeli embassy without being photographed by SAVAK teams monitoring the building. But the same person could enter a jewelry store, appearing to any observers as an ordinary customer, then be escorted to the private workshop area for a supposed consultation about custom work. These meetings allowed face-to-face debriefings where agents could provide documents, answer detailed questions, and discuss security concerns. Communications with Tel Aviv used radio equipment hidden behind false cabinets. The transmissions were brief, compressed, encrypted, using one-time pads that provided theoretically unbreakable security. The officer transmitted late at night when monitoring would be minimal. The antenna was disguised as ordinary electrical wiring. Messages were encoded using random number sheets received during trips to Israel, used once, then completely destroyed. The intelligence collected covered multiple priorities: Iranian relations with Arab states, Was the tacit cooperation with Israel stable, or might Iran shift toward Arab positions, military capabilities? What weapon systems was Iran acquiring? How effective was their training? What did operational doctrine reveal? Soviet activities. Where were Soviet intelligence officers operating? Who were they recruiting? What were Moscow's strategic objectives in the region? The recruitment of Iranian sources followed classic tradecraft adapted to local culture. The officer would identify potential sources through daily interactions. A mid-level military officer shopping for a gift might reveal career frustrations during casual conversation. Over multiple visits, the officer would cultivate relationship, learning about financial pressures, ideological doubts, personal grievances. When assessment suggested receptivity, he'd make a carefully calibrated pitch, financial compensation, framing cooperation as serving regional peace, assurances that assistance wouldn't endanger Iran but only help Israel defend against common threats. Not every recruitment attempt succeeded. Some potential sources rejected approaches outright, creating security challenges. Others initially seemed receptive but developed cold feet. Some sources proved unreliable, fabricating information to collect payments. Each case required verification against other intelligence sources and careful security management. The store also supported operations beyond intelligence collection. Palestinian militants using Tehran as a base for planning attacks found themselves under surveillance from the jewelry store's network. Arab diplomats posted to Tehran might discover their servants or business contacts were reporting to Mossad through this station. When Israeli intelligence determined someone in Iran posed direct threats requiring elimination, the Tehran network could support operations to neutralize such targets. One reported incident reveals the operation's complexity. Iranian counterintelligence had identified a Mossad asset and placed him under surveillance. The jewelry store officer needed to warn this person without revealing his own role or confirming Iranian suspicions. The solution involved displaying specific jewelry pieces in the shop window in a prearranged pattern. The asset would recognize this as a danger signal during a routine walk past the store. He subsequently fled Iran, preventing arrest, but forcing Mossad to abandon years of cultivation. The relationship between Mossad and Savak was complicated despite official cooperation. While the services worked together against common threats like Soviet intelligence and Palestinian militants, they also competed for influence. Savak wanted to control all intelligence operations in Iran, viewing foreign intelligence presence as potential threats. Mossad wanted freedom to operate independently, recognizing that Iranian political circumstances might change. The jewelry store and similar non-official operations allowed Israeli intelligence to maintain capabilities Savak didn't fully control or even know about. Emergency extraction plans existed in case Iranian authorities moved to arrest the officer. The store contained hidden compartments where sensitive materials could be destroyed quickly using incendiary devices. Multiple escape routes had been planned, routes to the Turkish border, to ports where ships might provide passage, to airports where forged documents could get him aboard flights to friendly countries. Mossad had developed exfiltration routes allowing escape to Turkey or other neighboring countries where Israel could complete extraction. Intelligence priorities evolved through the 1970s as regional dynamics shifted. After the 1973 Arab-Israeli War, as Arab states began normalizing relations with Iran, Mossad intensified efforts to understand whether this represented fundamental realignment or merely tactical adjustment. The jewelry store network reported on meetings between Iranian and Arab officials, discussions in Tehran's political circles about Israel relations, shifts in public sentiment. Iranian nuclear ambitions emerged as a collection priority even during the Shah's era. While programs were civilian in nature, ostensibly designed to provide energy, Mossad maintained vigilant interest. Israeli intelligence understood civilian programs could provide foundations for future weapons development. The network reportedly provided intelligence on Iranian nuclear personnel, tracked facilities under construction, monitored relationships with foreign suppliers, providing technology and training. By the mid-1970s, indications of growing unrest raised concerns about the operation's viability. Opposition to the Shah was intensifying across Iranian society. Religious conservatives opposed secularization. Leftist intellectuals challenged authoritarianism. Middle-class reformers wanted political liberalization. Students protested economic policies benefiting elites while ordinary Iranians struggled. The jewelry store officer reported on this ferment through daily interactions and his intelligence network. Conversations revealed growing dissatisfaction, anger over economic problems, resentment of Savak repression. The Islamic Revolution that overthrew the Shah in February 1979 created immediate existential crisis for Israeli operations in Iran. The new Islamic Republic was virulently anti-Israel. Revolutionary authorities seized the Israeli diplomatic mission, arrested personnel in official buildings, launched manhunts for suspected Mossad agents. Cooperation between Israel and Iran evaporated overnight, replaced by implacable hostility. The jewelry store officer's situation became acutely dangerous. As a Jew operating undercover in revolutionary Iran, discovery would mean certain death. The revolutionary government was executing officials from the Shah's regime, hunting foreign intelligence agents. Mossad needed to extract officers operating under non-official cover before counterintelligence identified them. The exact extraction circumstances remain classified. Published accounts suggest it occurred during chaotic months following revolution, when authorities were overwhelmed managing crises and hadn't yet organized counterintelligence capabilities. Some accounts suggest the officer maintained his cover as a Jewish Iranian merchant initially, using this identity to assess security and plan extraction. Revolutionary authorities initially allowed some minorities to immigrate. He allegedly exploited this window, closing his store, obtaining exit permits, traveling overland to Turkey before reaching Israel. Other accounts describe more dramatic extraction: safe houses, forged documents, clandestine border crossings. In these versions, he abandoned the jewelry store when revolutionary authorities began investigating businesses that had prospered during the Shah's reign. He went underground, moving between safe houses established earlier. Mossad arranged forged documents showing him as a European businessman. Iranian smugglers cultivated years earlier facilitated travel to the Turkish border. From Turkey, Israeli intelligence completed extraction. What's certain is successful escape, bringing preserved intelligence materials and personal knowledge accumulated over years. His extraction was one element of broader Mossad operations, pulling numerous officers, agents, and sources out of Iran. Some extractions succeeded completely, others were partially compromised, and tragically, some Iranian Jews who'd assisted Israeli intelligence were captured and executed by revolutionary tribunals. The jewelry store itself was presumably seized during general nationalization and confiscation. Its true purpose may have remained undiscovered in revolutionary chaos or Iranian counterintelligence, may have eventually identified it during systematic investigations. The truth remains unknown, lost in classified files neither government will release. The Iranian operations loss represented catastrophic intelligence failure for Mossad. Overnight, Israel lost a strategic ally whose cooperation had lasted decades. Extensive human intelligence networks were destroyed, technical collection capabilities were lost, safe houses, communication channels, operational infrastructure were compromised. The intelligence gap created by Iran's transformation from covert ally to implacable enemy would shape Israeli strategic challenges for decades. The lessons influenced subsequent operations worldwide. The Tehran jewelry store demonstrated non-official cover could be maintained successfully for years, even in challenging environments. Patient source cultivation, careful cover maintenance, disciplined operational security could produce valuable intelligence over extended periods. But the revolution's impact showed how rapidly political change could compromise long-term operations, requiring elaborate extraction contingencies and constant reassessment. Today, more than 4 decades after revolution, the jewelry store's location remains theoretically identifiable through historical research. The building has undoubtedly changed hands multiple times. Current occupants are unlikely to know anything about its past. The Israeli officer who operated there remains alive but anonymous, identity protected by classification, likely extending beyond his lifetime. For customers who bought jewelry during those years, learning the truth about their competent, skilled merchant would come as complete shock. They remember a craftsman who helped select engagement rings, repaired broken necklaces, offered fair prices. They had no idea the man measuring ring sizes was simultaneously running intelligence operations, targeting threats to a distant country. The Tehran jewelry store stands as one of Mossad's most remarkable Cold War successes. Years of productive operations, multiple officers supported, valuable intelligence collected, all while maintaining cover so effective that exposure came not from security compromise, but from revolutionary upheaval sweeping away the entire political order. It represents intelligence tradecraft at its finest: patience, discipline, meticulous attention to detail, and psychological stamina to maintain fiction so completely it becomes indistinguishable from reality. What strikes you most about this operation? The years of maintaining elaborate fiction while serving real customers and conducting espionage simultaneously? The relationship between Israel and pre-revolutionary Iran that made such operations possible? Or the dramatic collapse forcing extraction as revolution transformed ally into enemy? Drop your thoughts below. If this hidden chapter of Israeli-Iranian cooperation engaged you, hit that like button and share. These are the operations, that shaped Middle Eastern dynamics, but remained secret for decades, only emerging now as archives open and veterans share carefully guarded memories.